In this box is a bag that I have been curious about for several years now since it came out, and I'm not certain that it's going to work for me, but I got it for a fantastic deal, so I thought, why not give it a try? If it doesn't work, I can always return it. It's also in a color that I don't have anything in my collection, so that's another thing I'm curious about. Let's get it open and see how it goes. Stay tuned. Hi YouTube, Autumn Beckman here. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. My channel is all about luxury living on a budget, from high-end luxury handbags and small goods to the everyday luxuries of life. If that sounds interesting to you, please make sure you subscribe, click the bell notification icon to be notified when I post new videos, and be sure to like the videos that you enjoy. And one of the perks of subscribing to my channel is you get to see my community post on your YouTube homepage, where I post deals, discount codes, sales, and rare finds related to these beautiful things we love. So let's check this out. I got this from The RealReal. They just had an incredible deal on it. It was very difficult to pass up. It's in this kind of unusually shaped box, a little bigger than the bag is. And if you recognize the dust bag, I brought it closer so you could see. It's from Tory Burch. I have a few Tory Burch bags, but I've never purchased this one before. I've seen it in the store a few times. I've never tried it on because it's one of their more expensive bags. So let's pull it out and see what I got. It's the Eleanor. And it's in white. I have no white bags at all in my collection, unless you count Damier Azur, but that has other colors in it too. So let's take a spin of this bag. First of all, you have that flap on the front with the giant TT logo, and it's very 3D, as you can see as we turn the bag. So there's the side of the bag. It's been a long time since I looked at the Eleanor in store, and I had never noticed before that there's a section on the bag right here. I just thought it was one big open compartment. So we will certainly take a look at the interior. The back is plain, no pockets, no nothing. And then the side, of course, and the bottom of the bag. So when you stand it up, it stands on those ends there, no feet at all. You can see there's a compartment there and perhaps one there as well. And on the top of the bag, we have these two metal loops that hold the chain. And while we're here, let's go ahead and take a look at the interior of the bag. So the front is held in place by this clasp. I've only ever seen this kind of clasp from Tory Burch. It's magnetic, and it's engraved Tory Burch right there. And these two pieces, this just fits inside this. I have found that to be very secure on other Tory Burch bags. Notice the exterior has a bit of a shine to it. The interior does not, so that's a little bit different leather. Let me pull the chain out, and now we can see the interior setup of the bag. So you do have this front compartment that's pretty flat. That wrinkly thing you see in there is because there's a piece of cardboard with tissue paper over it. Then there's a big center compartment. Well, not that big, it's not a big bag. And then you have a zipped compartment on the back there. And that zipper opening is very small and it's super tight there. So it's going to be difficult to put anything in there. What is this? This is the RealReal tag. But that's what it looks like inside. You can barely see. That zipped compartment is lined in leather. It's a nice smooth zipper. You've got a leather zipper pull here. Let's take that cardboard piece out so you can see the leather lined interior there, and of course this is all leather as well. Besides the giant logo on the front, the only branding on the bag is where it's stamped in silver right here. It says Tory Burch, New York. And let's take a look at this beautiful chain. The chain definitely has some weight to it, and I love the detail, how it's not just a normal chain, it has all that kind of weaving in it. It's really, really pretty. It also has this little barrel piece which holds the two ends of the chain together, and it has the TT logo on two sides of it. So there, and then flip it to the other side and it's there again. Now that you've seen the bag, I'll tell you what we're going to talk about next. First, we'll start with some basic information about the Eleanor bags, including what they cost, and I'll tell you what I paid for this one. We'll also talk a bit about authenticity because I purchased this pre-loved and there were some questions. I'll do a little bit of what fits because it's a small bag, some mod shots, and then we will wrap it up. So the Eleanor bags from Tory Burch are still fairly new. They were only released in 2020, and they were released in 3 different sizes. Right now on the Tory Burch website, there are only 2 sizes available. The large, the small, which is what this is, but there used to also be a mini. I'm not sure if those are made anymore. Obviously mine has silver hardware, but most of them have gold. So that was one of the things that drew me to this one. I like the silver. The small size is 7.5 inches long, 2.8 inches deep, and 5.3 inches high. The large is 9.3 inches across the bottom, so it's almost 2 inches longer. It's the same depth, 2.8 inches, and it's only 1 inch higher at 6.4 inches. Currently, the bag that's most similar to this, that's on the Tory Burch website, retails for $648. The large size and some of the smaller ones that are more special fabrics or details on the logo, those are also about $750. But I told you I got a fantastic deal. I paid only $268 for this. That's a savings off retail of $383. You see why I couldn't pass it up. That said, I'm already thinking that the larger size is going to work better for me, and I probably want the leather strap instead of the chain. As beautiful as the chain is, I think, well, it really depends on the bag though and the finish on the bag. So I take that back. It'll depend. Now let's talk authenticity, because when I was looking at this, typically when I find something I think I'm going to buy and I feel like I have a little bit of time to do some research, what I do is check other resale sites that would have the same bag I'm looking at. So in this case, Fashionphile I wouldn't check because they don't carry Tory Burch, but I would check places like Poshmark and Mercari and eBay. Posh and Mercari had a bunch of Eleanor bags, but so many of them were fake. And you can often tell that from the price point and the kinds of photographs. Once you start looking at photos, you can kind of start to tell just from the photo and like the background of the photo, which are coming from some warehouse that sells fakes and which are coming from someone's home where they've purchased the bag and are reselling it. I looked for videos comparing the real bags versus the fake bags because a lot of the fake bags looked pretty good, and I couldn't find any videos like that were in English. I did, however, find a video comparing the small and the large size by a friend of mine, Eva from Fuchsia Floyd, so I will have her video linked below if you're interested in a comparison of the two sizes. I did find an authentication site that had photographs next to each other of a real versus a fake bag, and then they would have descriptions of what to look for. But when I looked at the photos, it was very difficult to tell the difference between the two, even side by side. So another thing I do when I'm trying to authenticate a bag before I buy it is try to find another bag just like it on other sites that I know is authentic, like maybe it's from the retailer's website, or maybe it's from a place that I really trust like Fashionphile, and compare the photos of that bag to the one that I'm looking at. But I tell you what, I had a lot of trouble finding this particular bag anywhere else. And in some cases that can be a red flag, like maybe that bag wasn't ever made by the retailer. But in other cases, it could just be a bag that's a little difficult to find. In this case, I found an example on Carousel that was fake, so that told me that there are fakes of this exact bag. I also found a white one with silver hardware on Mercari, but the logo wasn't 3D like on this one, it was flat. So that was a different bag. Plus it had dark glazing around the edges, whereas this one has white. It matches the color of the bag. But I knew that the one on Mercari was authentic because it had the tags still attached from Nordstrom, and it even had a little sticker on it where it had been marked down. That kind of thing I've never seen a fake of. I've seen fakes of like Tory Burch tags, but not of Nordstrom tags. I also found one on a European site for Tory Burch, an authorized Tory Burch in Europe, but it was in a color called New Ivory. The Tory Burch website has one called New Cream, and they both looked more of a cream color and not so white. Now this is a little bit off-white, but it's pretty white. I did finally find one exactly like this bag at Bloomingdale's, so I knew that that was authentic. So I knew that this bag was made. It had the white glazing, it had the same 3D logo, but it was a past season bag, so it didn't have any information about it. It just had a picture of the front, that's it, and then it said sold out. Another thing to look at is mine came with a dust bag, but I've seen videos of other Tory Burch bags that have fake dust bags because they're fake bags. So yeah, those get faked too. So then what I did, since I couldn't find a lot of photos of this exact bag, but I had figured out that this was made, is I started looking at photos of other Eleanor bags that I knew were authentic, and I started comparing the details of those to this. For example, I looked at the chain, and blew up some of the pictures to make sure that the chain was exactly the same and the details on the barrel. I also looked inside the bags at the buckles, and I'll bring this closer. I looked at details on the zippers, and I looked to see how much space there was between the metal zipper and the leather part of the bag, and how the bags are stitched on the corners and how they're glazed. Another thing I did was watch videos of people unboxing the Eleanor bags, brand new. And one thing that I saw was when someone opened their bag, they pulled out of that front pocket this. And I could tell from the photos on the reel, just barely, but it looked like it had something in the front pocket like this, some kind of stuffing. So that helped tell me that this bag was authentic too. So those are some tips for you if you're trying to authenticate a bag like this. Things you can do, things you can research, parts of the bag you can compare photos of that can help you be more certain about the bag's authenticity. Or not. All right, let's check out a couple of things to see whether they fit in this tiny little bag. Notice on the inside, even though the measurement said it was 7.5 inches wide, you lose space because of the construction, how those sides cave in there. So let me measure that for you. That space is 5 3/4 inches. So you lose quite a bit from those sides being concave. Here's a Louis Vuitton Agenda PM. Looks like it'll fit, and I think it will. It does, but it takes up about half, if not more, of that main compartment there. So that, if you know the size of an Agenda PM, gives you a really good idea of how small the interior of this bag is. Here's a passport. Most of us know how big a passport is, so there you go. That gives you an idea of the interior as well. A Louis Vuitton zippy coin purse. I put that in sideways, and let's see if it fits. It should, because the top of the bag curves up a bit, and yeah, it fits no problem, although the zipper's hanging out. I have an iPhone 10. That fits, but it doesn't look like a bigger phone would. So something like an iPad mini definitely would not fit. Now a few mod shots. Let's try this crossbody first. And I'm a bit surprised, pleasantly surprised, that actually works really well. The length of that is perfect for me. So if it works for me, it's gonna work for a lot of people. And then here it is on my shoulder with the long chain. That hits at a good spot too. But then this is one that you can pull up the chain and double it and wear it as a shoulder bag. And that's really nice as well. A quick comparison with two other small bags in my collection. The small Eleanor versus the Coach Beat 18. They're similar in size. I've never carried this bag, by the way. Still, I've never carried it. I think I've had it for a couple years. So very similar in size there, and this Beat also has those sides that are concave, so the inside of the bag is a little smaller. I love that Beat bag because it's a Basquiat piece, but the way the inside is set up is the reason I've never carried it, really. It's just a little too small. So here is the Eleanor next to the Coach Tabby Messenger 19. Again, similar sizes. The Eleanor even looks a little bit bigger, but the interior of the Tabby Messenger, because it's constructed differently on the sides and on the bottom, is a lot more spacious than the Eleanor would be. So here's my verdict on this bag. Beautiful bag, beautiful construction, great materials, very well made. Nice looking, seems comfortable to wear. But this size is too small for me. I'm gonna send this back, and I think if I get another one, it's going to have to be the larger size. What I love the most about this bag is that big logo. And I know that they have some that are even more interesting than this, that have rhinestones or pieces of mirror or different textures on the bag, like they're not all leather. I've seen velvet ones, I've seen jacquard ones, lots of different options. So I think this isn't the best Eleanor for me, and I'm going to be on the hunt for the right one. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Hope to see you back here next time, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye.